Guys and gals, here we are getting started today. We are going to do a product review today, which is exciting. And let me just get stuff set up here. I'm actually going to turn you around so that you can see me for a minute. And we're going to jump on. I'm really sorry, y'all, that I didn't make the scope on Tuesday. And sorry, I'm still messing with the microphone here. We just had, we had one of those classic no good, terrible, horrible, very bad days, straight out of the children's book with old Alexander there. I don't know if y'all read that when you were kids, but I loved it. Anyways, it was a bad day. And there was no way I could do the scope that day. So we're hopefully working things up. Sometimes I feel like getting my kids to clean up is like World War III around here, which makes no logical sense to me, but I guess I remember being super messy when I was a kid, so, maybe that's going on. But anyways, let's jump in. We're going to do a product review today. Here's Sadie. She's on my back. She's like, hey, I didn't audition for Candid Camera here, folks. So anyways, I'm gonna have Sadie for a minute here on the scope because the product review is in relation to a product for her. So this is actually what we're reviewing today. And this is a Zipadee-Zip. Okay, so before we get started, let me just introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kristen. My website is naturalbirthandbabycare.com. And I talk about everything pregnancy, birth, and baby. I've gotten a page set up over on the site at naturalbirthandbabycare.com/scope. And I'll probably set up a short link to that so that you can get there through Birth Baby Life too. But anyways, naturalbirthandbabycare.com/scope, so that anything that we talk about on the scope, she really wants to see the camera, so that anything that we talk about on the scopes, you'll be able to check out the link there. So like I'll put a link to the Zippy there once we're done with this review. And then like anything, and we're also getting all the scopes up. Actually, I'll put a link on the page to like the scope feed too. We're getting all the scope replays up, and so yeah, so that's what we'll do. And I guess with that, I'll go on and get into the review. So we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to step back for a minute here. So this is what we're reviewing. And it's kind of funky looking. It's like a baby sleep sack kind of thing. But as you can see, it's got weird arms. And somebody's asked a couple times, is it cold over there? We're in northern Michigan, so in theory, on November the 5th, it is supposed to be cold over here, but it's not. We're having unseasonably warm weather, for which I am very grateful for. So anyways, back to our Zippy. So this really appealed to me. I have a group of girls, a due date club, it is weird this year, whose babies were all born when Sadie was. Sadie was born in February this year. She's 9 months old now. She's at the beginning of the month. And so one of the gals in my due date club used a Zippy with her kid, and she posted a picture of him in it, and I was like, what is that? I had never seen that before. And she said that it really helped him sleep, so I went and looked for it. Because if you caught my scope a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, I think it was last week, I was talking about a swaddle blanket, and the swaddle blanket that we have been using is a Miracle blanket, and I don't have one. I was looking to see if I've got one with me because I put them in the wash after we got the Zippy here. But we've been using a Miracle blanket. But Sadie is 9 months old and she can fight her way out of the Miracle blanket. But she wasn't quite ready to go swaddle free. So the Zippy, I'm going to move the camera back, is kind of meant for that. Oh, we've got Jacob up here too. Let me put him aside. Anyways, the Zippy is kind of meant to be like an alternate swaddle blanket or a transition out of the swaddle, and they make them in different sizes. So this is a medium, which is meant for a baby Sadie size. Let me see if it says what it's for. No, it just says medium. I think it was like 16 to 26 pounds or maybe 18 to 26 pounds. Anyways, I expect that Sadie will be comfortably in that range. She's about 19 or 20 pounds right now. And And I think she'll probably, my babies tend to like grow really fast at first and then kind of level off. So I think that we'll probably see a few months of use out of this, because I don't think she's hitting 26 pounds before she hits a year. But they have like a smaller size for littler babies, and then they also have a bigger size too, even for toddlers. So no, they don't get lazy. They have a lot. Actually, it's because they get more active, so they're not laying around just nursing all the time. They're up and active and moving, so they don't gain quite as much because they're burning some of those calories. She's still looking around. So this is the medium size, and it's meant to kind of simulate that, that babies get upset when they can flail everywhere. So this kind of prevents them from flailing, and I'm going to put Sadie in it for you here so that you can see her in the Zippy, and then I'm going to turn her over to Scott. So let me turn this around here. Put that there. Okay. So here's the Zippy. Oh, and actually you can see it really well now. It's backlit a little bit. Sorry about that. But so it looks like a sleep sack, except it's got these little weird funny arms on it. Most sleep sacks are sleeveless. But you just unzip it. I'm going to take Sadie off my back. And I'm going to put her in it. She's smiling at me. She's like, hey, Mommy, you don't really mean for me to go to sleep right now, do ya? So she can put her arms up a little bit, and then she zips in. And I really like that they have, they've got this little flap that covers the zipper. I really like that. So this is what Sadie looks like in it. I'll get her a little bit closer there. So there's Sadie in the Zippy. So her hands are covered up in it, and she's like totally thrilled here. And it kind of keeps her from just being able to flail all over and be able to scratch at her face or scratch at me. It's actually, I'm really pleased with it because it has solved a bunch of problems for me. So I'll let you look at her for a minute. So she can't get out of this, like she was fighting out of the swaddle blanket. And she can no longer pinch because she can't find her way out of the blanket. Okay, now she's really excited. Maybe she's ready to go to Daddy now. Are you ready to go to Daddy now? Okay. We're passing Sadie off so that I can talk to y'all. All right. Back to me. Okay, so yeah, here's the Zippy. So like I said, she can't pinch anymore because she can't get it off, and her hands are kind of stuck here, so she can't pinch me, which makes nights a lot more pleasant for us because we co-sleep. Also, she can't kick me as effectively anymore, and her feet can't she can pinch with her toes, which is crazy. So she can't get away with that anymore. Now, there was definitely a transition because this doesn't hold her as tightly as a swaddle. Now, if I had gotten like one size down, it would have held her arms a little bit tighter. She can pretty much almost get her arms to full extension with this size. But she's still she's still stuck in the fabric. And there was definitely a transition going from a swaddle where, she was totally stuck. And so the first night was a little bit rougher. She's a pretty good sleeper. But that first night was actually a little rough because I think she was getting used to going from that tight swaddle out. And I thought about maybe trying to do a transition where I had her swaddled a little bit inside the Zippy, but I was worried about her getting too hot. So I decided not to do that. But then the second night and then going forward, she's done really well. And so it was before, when I swaddled her, she would get excited when she was getting swaddled because she knew that meant that we were going to cuddle and nurse, and it was time to fall asleep. And the first night that I put the Zippy on, she was kind of like, what? She got upset. But now, after we got it came on Saturday, so today is Thursday, so she slept in it Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So she slept in it 5 nights now. And now when she sees it, I put her nighttime diaper on her, and she sees it, and she gets happy over it now, just like she did over the swaddle blanket. So she knows that it means it's bedtime, and that's really nice. Another thing that I like is because she has her hands, you saw her do it a minute ago on the bed, she can put her hand up and kind of suck on her fist a little bit. She's sucking on the fabric, but I really like that because I think that helps her self-soothe a little bit. And I've noticed a couple times, because I put her to bed, and then I come to bed a little while later, and usually I like to read. And sometimes I read on my tablet or my Kindle, and sometimes I want to read a real book, which requires a light. It's not backlit. So if I turn the light on, I usually want her to stay asleep because I love co-sleeping, but for some reason if I have a baby nursing while I'm trying to fall asleep, and this isn't just Sadie, this has been true for all of them, it makes it harder for me to fall asleep. So I prefer to have them asleep and then come to bed, read for a little bit, then go to sleep myself, and then the rest of the night it's not a problem. But anyways, so I want, while I'm reading, for her to stay asleep. And I've noticed that with the Zippy, like with the swaddle, she would probably be fighting her way out of the swaddle, and she would need to nurse for a little bit. But with the Zippy, she will kind of roll over and she'll get her fists like right up here for a minute. And I think that and then just smelling me nearby, she's been able to self-settle back to sleep, which is really nice. Now she's still nursing at night, most of the night, and she's still getting up in the mornings, and she needs mama. And unfortunately, getting the Zippy also coincided with daylight savings time, so she's waking up about an hour earlier now, and I'm going to blame that on daylight savings time. I don't think it has anything to do with the Zippy versus the swaddle. I think it has to do with the time change. But thus far, I've been really pleased with this, and I think that if I had known about this earlier, I probably would have gotten it as soon as she got to the point where she was starting to fight out of the swaddle blanket, because then we could have just made the transition. And I know I didn't look. I just literally went to their website. I was like, this is what Denise said to get. I got one that I thought was a cute pattern, and I ordered it. I didn't look around at everything else, but I noticed as I was surfing the website that they had toddler ones too. And I think that the toddler ones are maybe convertible, so that they have a little flap that can come off, and then their little hands can come out. So basically you can help them transition away. I think they're called flying squirrel pajamas or something, which my bigger kids would like, because my preschoolers and first graders are on this squirrel kick. They love squirrels right now, so they would probably love some jammies like that. But anyways, this makes a really nice swaddle transition, I think, and then they even make it easy for you to transition up. And then for those of you who want to use a sleep sack, it acts like a sleep sack too. So really, I think this is pretty cool. I'm pretty pleased with it. So, and I wanted to share it with you. Like I said, I actually ordered this. I bought this with my money, so this is just a review because this has helped me and my family, and I see us getting a lot of use out of it. And I know that one of the big things gals ask me in my Smart Mama Happy Baby Club is, how do I transition off of the swaddle? And it's been historically pretty rough for me, and I think that this is going to make it a lot easier. So I know that this has been one of my quicker scopes because this is a product review and I don't want to carry on and on and on. But I've really liked it so much. Like I said, the one thing I could wish is that maybe it held her arms a little bit tighter to her, but I think that's because I decided to go with the size that could grow with her, because I don't, they're a little bit more expensive, but when you look at the price of a sleep sack, and when you think that this is a sleep sack and this is basically pajamas, I just put Sadie in her diaper, so and that it'll get you. Gosh, I think that anything that helps parents get better sleep is probably worth the cost. If you look at that, my Miracle, it costs about the same as a Miracle blanket cost, and I've been grateful over and over and over again for those things. So yeah. This is, again, I'll show you, ladies. It is a Zipadee-Zip, and I'm also going to put up a link to it on naturalbirthandbabycare.com/scope. So you can head over to naturalbirthandbabycare.com/scope. And I'll put a link to them up there. Maybe I'll put a picture of Sadie in it too. So you can see that. And then you can also check out the scopes. If you're interested in more about swaddling, I'll also put the link to the scope that I did on swaddling. And I actually showed you. I showed you with Jacob here. I didn't try and do Sadie for that one. This is our Jacob model. He's our little baby doll that we use. But I used Jacob to show you different swaddles, a couple different swaddle blankets, so you could look at those. But for those of you, especially once you're past that newborn stage and maybe baby's starting to fight out of the swaddle, but you know they're not quite ready to go totally, totally free, then this could be a good option. All right, so I will talk to you guys tomorrow at this time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Have a blessed day today.